Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
After college, I landed a decent job in marketing, thinking I was on the fast track to success. But then, Mom's health took a turn for the worse. She'd always had issues with her back, but suddenly, she could barely walk without a cane. I couldn't bear the thought of her struggling alone or ending up in a nursing home. So, I made the decision to move back home. It wasn't easy balancing work and caregiving, but we made it work. Most days, I'd help her with daily tasks before heading to the office. One Saturday, we decided to do some shopping at the Mart of Walls. I threw on my favorite red shirt, the one that says, "Do me a favor and stop talking." A gift from a friend who knows my introverted nature all too well. When we arrived at the store, Mom looked around the parking lot for one of those motorized carts. No luck. We started to make our way inside with just a regular cart, but I could see the pain on her face with each step. I told Mom to stop and said I'd go check if a cart was being returned. She agreed, and I left her leaning against the wall as I dashed back to the entrance. Just my luck. An older man was getting off a motorized cart. I asked him about the battery, and he assured me it was still pretty full. Relieved, I hopped on and started heading back to Mom. I hadn't even made it past the entrance when I heard a voice behind me. A large woman, surrounded by what looked like a small army of children, called out to me. She seemed to think I was an employee bringing back a motorized cart. I turned around, raising an eyebrow and wondering if she was actually talking to me. I explained to her that I didn't work there, pointing out my red shirt. She demanded to know why I was using a motorized cart if I wasn't an employee, insisting they were for disabled people. She glared at me, arms folded across her chest. I tried to explain that she couldn't know whether I had a disability or not, and that I was actually getting the cart for my disabled mother. The woman's response shocked me. She rudely dismissed my mother's needs, claiming she needed the cart because she was fat. Taken aback by her rudeness and entitlement, I retorted that being fat wasn't a disability, and neither was being stupid. With that, I drove away, ignoring her tantrum and the stream of profanities she hurled at my back. I didn't mention the incident to Mom when I reached her. No need to ruin our shopping trip. As we made our way through the store, I couldn't shake the feeling we were being watched. Sure enough, I kept catching glimpses of the woman peeking around corners, glaring at us. It was unsettling, to say the least. We ran into my old friend who now worked as a manager at the store. We chatted and I filled him in on the situation. He pointed out the woman, who was hunched over a display, very obviously spying on us. My friend assured me he'd handle it and approached her. He politely asked her to stop her behavior or leave the store. What happened next was both shocking and oddly satisfying. The woman let out an inhuman screech and charged at my friend like an enraged bull. She managed to knock him off his feet, but security guards were on her in seconds. They dragged her away and she was screaming about discrimination and threatening lawsuits. My friend picked himself up, brushing off his uniform. He asked if we were okay, looking concerned. Mom, confused by the commotion, asked what had just happened. I quickly explained the whole situation to Mom, who looked equal parts amused and concerned. She joked that I had a knack for attracting interesting characters. We finished our shopping without further incident. When we were leaving, I made sure to hand off the motorized cart to an elderly lady who looked like she could use it. Later that evening, as Mom and I were having dinner, my phone buzzed with a text from my manager friend. He told me that the woman had been banned from all their stores nationwide. As it turned out, she had pulled similar stunts before. He joked about it being karma. It wasn't often that entitled behavior got its just desserts, but today it seemed the scales had been perfectly balanced. I've always been close to my cousin. We're the same age, and her mom used to babysit me during summers when we were kids. Those were some of the best times of my life, spent at their amazing property. It's like a private oasis, 3 houses surrounding a big pond with a boat dock, tennis court, and a pavilion. The whole place is nestled in the woods, completely secluded except for the entrance. I grew up there every summer. I felt like it was my second home. My cousin's family was always so welcoming, treating me like one of their own. As we got older, our bond only grew stronger. We'd spend hours exploring the woods, swimming in the pond, and having epic tennis matches. It was our own little paradise. When I turned 22, I decided to move out of my parents' house and get my own place. As luck would have it, I found an apartment in a complex right near my cousin's property. It was perfect. I'd be close to her and still have easy access to the place I loved so much. After settling in, I asked my cousin if I could walk my dog around their property. She was thrilled, saying it would be nice to have me around more often. So it became part of my daily routine, taking my furry friend for long walks around the pond, enjoying the peacefulness of the place. One day, as I was leaving through the front gates after our usual walk, I noticed something odd. A woman I'd never seen before was walking down the private road with her young daughter. Now, my cousin's family is pretty protective of their privacy. They have big no trespassing signs at the entrance and another halfway down the road. It's hard to miss them. I approached the woman, trying to be polite. I asked her if she knew the family who lived there. She said she didn't, looking confused. I pointed out the large no trespassing sign and explained that this was private property. The woman's face suddenly twisted into an annoyed expression. She accused me of just being on the property myself. I calmly explained that I was related to the family and had their permission to be there. The woman scoffed and asked if I was saying her daughter couldn't explore the area. I told her that if it meant trespassing, then yes, that's exactly what I was saying. I made it clear that she and her daughter weren't allowed to go exploring on private property. The woman let out an exaggerated huff and turned to her daughter. In a sickeningly sweet voice dripping with sarcasm, she told the girl that I wouldn't let them go down there. They finally turned around and started walking back. I felt awkward about following them, so I decided to take another lap around the pond with my dog before heading home. The next day, I told my cousin about the encounter. She was grateful I'd intervened, expressing her frustration with people ignoring their signs. I totally got it. I have a small property of my own with no trespassing signs, and people still walk down it all the time. It's like the most ignored sign in America. A week later, I was at my cousin's place for our usual Sunday family dinner. As we were all sitting around the table enjoying some homemade lasagna, we heard a commotion outside. My cousin's dad wondered aloud what the noise could be. We all got up and went to the window. To our shock, we saw the same woman from before, but this time she had about 5 kids with her. They were running around the yard screaming and laughing. My cousin asked incredulously if that was the woman I had told them about. I confirmed it was. My cousin's mom decided to go out there to talk to her, and we all followed. When we approached, the woman spotted me and had the audacity to smile and wave. She greeted me cheerfully, saying they had come back to explore after all. My cousin's mom asked the woman what she thought she was doing on their property. The woman replied casually that they were just having a little adventure and that the kids loved it there. My cousin's dad questioned if she had seen the no trespassing signs. The woman admitted she had, but claimed she thought they were just for show, suggesting that surely we didn't mind sharing such a lovely place. My cousin told her that we absolutely did mind and that this was private property, not a public park. The woman accused us of being selfish, insisting there was plenty of space for everyone. I reminded her that I had warned her the previous week that this wasn't allowed and that she was trespassing. She dismissed my concerns, telling me to stop being a buzzkill and that the kids were having fun. My cousin's mom, trying to remain polite, told the woman she needed to leave now or we'd have to call the police. The woman claimed they weren't hurting anyone. My cousin's dad pulled out his phone, telling her to watch him make the call. The woman's face paled as she realized we were serious. She started frantically calling the kids back, telling them they had to go because the mean people wouldn't let them play there. When they were leaving, my cousin's dad warned that if we saw her there again, we wouldn't give another warning but would call the police immediately. The woman muttered about how ridiculous and selfish we were as she left. After they left, we all stood there shocked. My cousin's mom was relieved that I had warned the woman off the first time and wondering how often she might have come back if I hadn't. We spent the rest of the evening discussing ways to improve security around the property. It was a shame that it had come to this, but some people just don't understand boundaries. It was infuriating that someone could be so entitled, but it also made me appreciate my family even more. We might have to deal with trespassers now and then, but at least we had each other's backs. And that, I realized, was worth more than any beautiful property. My siblings and I were living with our dad at the time of this. Our mom? Well, she'd packed her bags and moved to Switzerland for work a few years earlier. Can't say I missed her much. Our relationship was, well, let's just say it was complicated. When I was growing up, Mom was always chasing the next big thing. Money, status, whatever. She'd drag us along on her wild schemes, using us as props in her grand plans. My siblings and I learned pretty quickly to keep our guard up around her. Dad was the opposite. Steady, reliable, always there for us. When Mom left, we could finally breathe. You know, no more walking on eggshells, no more being pawns in her games. So there I was, buried in textbooks and ramen noodles. When my phone starts buzzing, it's her, Mom. My stomach does a little flip. Nothing good ever comes from these calls. When I answered, she immediately asked how much it would cost me to send her $3,000. I was shocked and told her I didn't have that kind of money. She insisted I tell her the cost anyway. Confused, I explained I'd need to check the banking app, but asked why she needed this information. She then said she was going to send me $3,000 and wanted me to send it back, offering to cover the transaction cost. I pressed her for a reason, refusing to agree without an explanation. Sounding annoyed, she finally revealed her plan. She explained that in Switzerland, parents can deduct money sent to adult children in school from their taxes. She wanted me to send the money back so she could benefit from this tax break. I pointed out that this sounded like tax fraud. She shushed me, worried someone might overhear. I warned her that authorities could easily catch on to such a scheme. She then asked directly if I would send the money back or not. I refused. The call ended abruptly after that. I hung up, my head spinning. Just when I thought she couldn't sink any lower, she pulls this stunt. But then it hit me. My younger siblings. They were still kinda under her spell. I had to warn them. I called them up, practically yelling into the phone. I urgently warned them not to agree to send her back any money, emphasizing they could get into trouble. Turns out she'd already gotten to them, but she'd been sneakier, trying to sweet-talk them into her little scheme. Thank God they smelled something fishy and didn't bite. The whole thing left me fuming. What kind of mother tries to use her kids for tax fraud? And then to add insult to injury, when she realized she couldn't pull it off, she didn't even consider actually sending us the money we could have used for school. Nope, she just paid her taxes like a normal person and went on with her life. I couldn't let it go though. This was the last straw. I decided it was time to cut ties for good. I blocked her number, removed her from all my social media, and told my siblings to be careful around her. But I didn't stop there. I wrote a detailed email to my dad explaining everything that had happened. He was furious. Together, we decided to contact a lawyer friend of his. We didn't want to press charges or anything, but we wanted to make sure she couldn't try this stunt again. The lawyer helped us draft a stern letter, outlining the legal repercussions of attempting tax fraud and using family members as unwitting accomplices. We sent it to her Swiss address, certified mail. A week later, I got a call from an unknown number. It was her, sputtering and angry. She accused me of threatening her and pulled the "I'm your mother" card. I countered by reminding her that I was her son, the one she tried to use for tax fraud. I warned her that this was her wake-up call and that we wouldn't hesitate to report her if she tried anything like this again. She started to call me ungrateful, but I hung up before she could finish. It felt good standing up to her like that. Since then, life's been pretty quiet on the mom front. My siblings and I are doing well, focusing on our studies and our futures. Dad's been our rock through it all. And last I heard, Mom is still in Switzerland. But now she knows we're not her personal piggy banks or get-out-of-taxes-free cards. We're her children, and it's about time she remembered that. First, some background. My mom owns a dental practice, and she's always been a bit of a pushover when it comes to her patients. Don't get me wrong, it's great that she cares. but sometimes people take advantage of her kindness. For the past 8 summers, I've been helping out at the office, but this year was different. My mom decided to take a well-deserved 3-week vacation and left me in charge. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nepotism, right? And yeah, I'll admit that's how I got the job initially. But after 8 summers of working there, I finally felt like I could handle the responsibility of being the office manager. One of my main goals was to standardize our policies, something my mom had always struggled with. The pandemic had hit us hard, and we lost our previous office manager. So, I stepped up to the plate. I knew there might be some pushback from patients about enforcing stricter policies, but I was determined to make it work. One day, while my mom was away on vacation, a patient came in for a routine checkup. She was a middle-aged woman, but it was clear she was dependent on her mother due to some mental challenges. She was super sweet and told us her mom would come in to pay after the appointment was done. I explained to her that we needed payment before the appointment, as it was our policy. I didn't think they'd run off without paying, but I didn't want to take any risks while the boss was away. I asked her to check if her mom could come in to pay now. The patient politely told me that her mom usually comes in to pay when she's done and asked if we could do it that way. I explained that I understood that's how they've done it before, but we were implementing a new policy. I asked her again if she was sure her mom couldn't come in now. The patient looked nervous and went out to ask again. I felt bad putting pressure on her, but I figured her mom would understand and just pay this time. This older woman stormed into the office, walked straight up to the desk, and started laying into me. She angrily declared that she had been coming to this office since before I was born, that she had never had to pay before treatment, and that she wasn't about to start now. I was taken aback. No one had ever yelled at me like that before. I tried to keep my cool and explain the situation. I told her that I understood this was different from what she was used to, but we were implementing a new policy. I explained that I couldn't make exceptions while the owner was on vacation. The woman then claimed that she knew the owner very well and that the owner wouldn't like how I was treating her. That's when I felt my sympathy start to evaporate. This woman clearly didn't know who she was talking to. She then threatened to take her business elsewhere if this was how we were going to treat loyal patients. And that was it. The last shred of my patience disappeared. I looked her dead in the eye, folded my hands on the desk, and calmly told her that was okay. The silence that followed was deafening. She clearly wasn't expecting that response. After a moment, I broke the silence. I explained to her that there had been a misunderstanding and that I was actually the owner's daughter. I told her we needed her to pay before the appointment today, but she was welcome to discuss this with my mom when she returned from vacation. The change in her demeanor was instant. She went from hostile Karen to sweet old lady in seconds. She stammered out an apology, saying she didn't realize who I was and agreed to pay right away. This woman had tried to pull the loyalty card, but any truly loyal patient would have recognized me. After she left, I commented to our back office assistants who had been watching the whole thing about how intense the situation had been. They praised me for handling it like a pro and shutting down the difficult patient so quickly. They even mentioned how insane the look on her face was when I simply said okay to her threat to leave. When my mom got back from vacation, I told her about the incident. To my surprise, she just laughed. She praised me for handling the situation well and revealed that the woman had never actually been a patient here herself and that we made almost no money from her. It's been a week since the incident, and we haven't heard back from Karen or her daughter. Honestly, who knows? Maybe the next time Karen tries to pull something like this at another business, she'll at least think twice about it. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.